Welcome, welcome. Okay, so who we got here? The fuck today? Ola. Hybrid Hooligan. Can't wait for her episode. Boy, that's going to be some shit. Man, Maiden, welcome. Good to see you. You are alive. I know you've missed a few, but you better be here for Mad Dog. It's going to be one for the record books right there. Hello, hero.
I
I
have seen some sneak
Oh
peeks.
yeah,
Sorry.
Irish Connection made it just about. I fully expected you to be asleep. Irish just had a rough day. Blame tag. Welcome. All right, so let's get into it. So tonight we have basically round two of Tales from the Table. Tonight we have Drunken Server with us. What we're going to do is I'm going to let him kind of talk about where he's worked at and whatnot, and then we will let the chaos ensue from there. So, sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being on. It's very much a privilege. I haven't really worked many. I've worked two places. One was a bar and restaurant that my dad owned in Arizona, hence the Arizona flag. I am originally from Arizona. Um, uh, Bad things happened, with him, and I don't really want to get into that because this is a family podcast, so I don't want to get into sad shit or whatever. But I moved to Oklahoma. This is where my mom lives right now, and so I came over here and I found a nice little bar grill that really everybody was really cool to me, and I very much appreciated it. And so I ended up here, and I've been there since May of last year. So it's kind of not very many places that I've worked, but a lot of experience in the restaurant industry, starting at like 13 years old and up. Just kind of hiding in the back, doing dishes with at my dad's place, and then you know, from there just kind of moving up the ranks, and then ultimately leading me here. And yeah, so
So you
that's really
started out in the family business, basically.
basically, yeah. So it was cool because he started one, and he was talking to me about it young. When I was young, he's like, "Hey, so I'm thinking about starting this bar and grill. Like, what do you think about it?" I was 8 at the time, so I was just like, yeah, that's cool. I get, what I didn't know what the hell he was talking about, and then he did it, and he, I ended up getting into it. He's like, "Hey, man, we're kind of short a dishwasher. You want to wash dishes for the night?" I'm 12 years old. I am 12 years old, and I'm just like, "Yeah, fuck it, sure, whatever, and so I didn't have anything better to do, it kept me out of trouble, the whole thing. So I did it, and then I like really enjoyed it. Like I just like heard the chatter of all the servers and all the shit talk they were talking. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to be a part of that, So that's kind of what got me into the business, honestly.
So, how many years were you there?
So I was there from so I under the table from 12 to about 24, and
Wow.
that happened with my father, and he passed away, and so I ended up moving to Oklahoma because this is where my mom lives, and so I'm in like this pretty big city of Oklahoma, and I'm like in an outskirt of a big city and working at a restaurant there, and it's been really cool. Like, the I was received really well. I guess because I'm so in Arizona, you get like a regular base pay. So right now, I think it's like $11 or $12 an hour. And back when I was working, it was like still down to like eight, still 9 an hour or whatever. And so when I came here and I like kind of like learned like, oh, they don't make that here. It's 213 an hour here when you're a server, 426 if you're a bartender, the whole thing. So I didn't know that until I got here, and I've always been like kind of a heavy tipper just because I've always been in the industry. I see all the bullshit that everybody goes through, and so that's kind of what made, and so everybody kind of like gravitated towards me a little bit because they like knew that I understood, and they basically recruited me from this place that I worked at this place. It was like kind of like one of those Asian like walks, if you will, where they like cook in front of you, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I, it was like you. So they made their food. They like put food in their bowl, and they like just went down the line, and then the cooks cooked it for you. But you don't really make the tip. The tip really goes to the cooks because they get to watch the cooks actually work. And after I did that, I would go to this place that I'm working at now, and they're like, "Oh, dude, just come work here, dude. Like it's a legitimate job. It's like a legitimate restaurant job. Like you'll do the whole thing." And that was like kind of the one of the big gripes that I had about the last place is because I wasn't like doing everything that I was used to doing. I just like kind of told them, hey, well, this is your bowl. You can make that. You can do this size, or this size. And then you just put all your ingredients in it, and the cook will cook it for you. And that's kind of really a bad, business model when you look at it from afar. Yeah, so I ended up working at this place and been there ever since May of last year. So
Going back to the walk kind of thing, was it a deal where they actually came to the table and cooked, or was they were just you could see them from like afar cooking your meal?
yeah, you could, yeah, so you could like literally see them from where you're sitting, anywhere in the restaurant you sat, you could see them cooking. And so it was like a whole open kitchen concept, like the whole thing. And it was just really hard to make money that way because it's one of those things like, yeah, you're refilling their drinks and whatnot, but they are also seeing the cooks cook all of these bowls, and we would have as much as like 12 bowls sectioned off, and like we'd have two or three cooks just cooking all of those things. And like big props to the cooks. I tipped out those cooks many a time, and they just do so much, and I like very much appreciated it. Obviously, because if the food's not good, they're just gonna blame the server anyways. So it's like one of those things where you understand what they're going through, and you are very much appreciative. Especially me coming from like a restaurant family, like I've seen all levels of cooking, and yeah, so it's one of those things. They didn't cook at your table or anything, but you could see them cooking, and it was like one of those things where you're just like, man, that's I wish I could do that, because they're making more money than me, some days. Just yeah.
So that sounds like a restaurant we had in Atlanta called Chow Baby. It was the same
Mhm.
thing. We had you could get like two size bowls or whatnot, and you went through like the bar and picked out your ingredients and gave it to them. Now,
Right.
so did they get all the tip, or was there like a standard like split, like they got a certain percentage?
Oh, yeah, it was a split tip. So it was a tip share, and we had a host, and I don't really want to get into the host. He was kind of uh, we're not going to get into the host, but I don't, I don't know what the deal is on cursing or not. I cuss a
You can
lot,
cuss.
so I
You
apologize.
you can cuss. Say what you need to say.
Okay, cool. So the host was a horse's ass. Anyways, we'll move on from there. But yeah, so it was a split tip. It was like 30. It was like 33% each way. So added up to 99 or whatever. And so it was really a shitty ordeal. Like I didn't really realize it when I got here because I made an hourly tip when I was in Arizona. So or an hourly wage when I was in Arizona. So I wasn't like thinking about that until I was like, oh, I'm still only making like $2 an hour. And so it got to that point. I was like, oh, like why are we tipping this guy? This guy is going to the bathroom for 30 minutes for no reason whatsoever. And it was like one of those. I was just really annoyed by it, and I'd be complaining about that a lot when I went to this place that I'm working now. And they're that's kind of what they're all like. Well, they like laid out all the things. Well, you've complained about this. They've complained about this. You've complained about like they kept a log of everything that I've complained about, and they you know basically just like, just work here, bro. You don't have to deal with any of that. I mean, there's tip sharing at my place too, but it's like, it's different. It's only on the weekends, so it's like really, really nice, honestly, compared to, the last place I was at.
Right. Now, when you talk about you had like a flat wage back in Arizona, was that something that your family business did, or is that what Arizona said they
That's,
had to do?
that's statewide. So statewide is, I want to say it's 11 an hour now. I haven't really like looked back into it, but at the time it was 8 an hour. And that was whether you're a server, whether, I mean, it, obviously cooks made a little bit more, hosts made also 8 an hour, but um, yeah, so it was 8 an hour minimum. Like that was the minimum you could make if you were at a restaurant in Arizona at the time that I was there.
Plus, but you got tips on top of that.
Yeah, so you got tips as well.
So honestly, you could make serious fucking bank in Arizona if you're a
Oh yeah,
server.
yeah. I have made a lot of money just off not so. I mean, I've made a lot of money off of tips when I was there, just because I was in a very populated area. I was in a college town of Arizona, so like I made a lot of money just on tips alone. But at the same time, like I like made a lot of money because I was working a lot. I was working more. It was my dad's business. I was working more than 40 an hour, every week, or 40 hours a week. I was working more than that every week, and so I was making hella paychecks. And then I was also getting tips on the side. So like I was just, at the time I was like, I thought it couldn't get better than this. And at the time I guess it really couldn't. Obviously looking back now, seeing where I'm at now, and not that I hate where I'm at now. Like I love where I'm at. Like love the people that I work with, the whole thing. But like working for 8 an hour and getting tips was like just icing on the cake.
I bet. Now, this is a question I had. You kind of touched on it just a second ago. What's like like where you're at now in the state that you're in? uh, What's the difference in like say bartender pay versus server pay?
So as a server, you make 213 an hour basically anywhere you go. As a bartender, from my experience, you make 420 through 426 an hour. So you make double of what the server makes. And I mean, you're also doing a lot more work. Obviously you have more, because in the mornings where I work, it's just that you have a bar top and then you have like a cocktail area. And so in the mornings you have that whole bar. So you have the bar top and the cocktail area. So have that whole thing, and you're dealing with all that. So I get the more pay on the bartender part. But yeah, as a server, I mean, granted, servers go through a lot too. Like today, I was working, and the bartender really, she wasn't very busy, but like the servers were really busy. And if we have bar drinks, we still tip out the bartender. So the bartenders can still make money off of the servers, if the servers guests order bar drinks. So
Now, when you say bar drinks, is that like actual mixed drinks? Like, does the bartender get like say for instance beer? I mean, is it beer on tap, or is it beer in bottles?
So it both. So anything alcohol related, you tip out. So uh, for instance, like today, I only had two beers. I only uh, had two beers ordered, and they're like large, like Michelob Ultra. And so I tipped out. And I mean, it's not like a large tip out, but on days like during the week, during the mornings, we tip out double bar. So today my bar tip was 30%, or 30 cents. And so double bar, I would like tip out 60 cents. So if it's 30 cents, it's 60 cents. So I have my whole tip out, what I owe the restaurant, plus that 60 cents. And so today it was, I think it was 17.34 that I owed the restaurant today, plus that 60 cents. So it was 17.94, which wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I still made a decent amount of money today anyways, based off of tips and whatnot. But that's kind of how that works, if that made sense.
So, all right, you made mention of what you owed the restaurant. Is there a percentage of tips that you have to give back?
No, not necessarily. So during the week, we usually just tip out the bartender, like during the week. But on the weekends, if we have a dishwasher and we have a host, it's 100% tip out. So, for instance, say it's a busy ass day, and you have really good sales, like you think you're making like really good money. You get to a point where you're like you're cut, like you're doing your cash out and whatnot, and like so you'll look at your tips, because on the weekends it's usually 100% tip out, and so you'll look at your tip out and it'll be like the other day, a few weeks ago, it was like $21 for me, so I had to tip out the full ass $21, which is kind of a kick to the shins, when you're like looking at it like that. I'm like, oh man, I thought I did so well. And but like, after, if you're tipping out $21, you're probably making really good money anyways. So it's not like one of those things where like that broke your bank, like so it was annoying because I had to give away just $21, but at the same time I still made a lot of money. So that part of it was also really
So,
cool.
when you say tip out, where is that money? Is that money like split amongst, or is there like, say, I guess the best way I'm trying to explain it is like, okay, so let's say you've got $100 worth of tips for that day. Obviously, like you said, any alcohol goes to the bartender and whatnot, and then
Right.
you've got dishwashers and things like that. Is there like
Mhm.
an amount that the restaurant itself as an entity expects you to give back to the business, or is it just like broke up to individual people?
There is not. So it doesn't. None of it goes back to the
Okay.
restaurant. So yeah. So like you said, it does. Any alcohol goes to the bartender. That's automatic, no questions asked. Everything else, kind of on the weekends, anyways. Whenever we have a dishwasher and a host, it all goes back to, the dishwasher. It gets added onto their paycheck. So we'll have a host, and we'll have a dishwasher, and they'll just get whatever our tip out was. So like like I say, I was telling you about the $21 tip out I had. I can't really say exactly how much of that went to the host and dishwasher, but that would go obviously on their check. So say it's, and divided by three, it's seven ish.
Yeah.
So say it's about seven, and it goes to the dishwasher and the host. Their paychecks, you're getting that from five servers. So twice. Well, I guess not twice, but you're getting it from both ways from all servers. So like the hosts and the dishwashers are making money, but they're also not making like tips like the servers are.
Gotcha. Now, for like, say, the dishwashers and the host, are they making an hourly rate like that's
Yeah,
above the
yeah.
213?
So dishwashers and hosts, like anybody that's basically not a server, makes I want to say
Man,
725. I
that's
think
kind of bullshit, really.
it. I agree. I agree. I'm not gonna go into that, but I mean, if you want to go into it, I will go into it. But um, at the same time, like, well, I guess not really at the same time, but yeah. So I think at my place, the dishwasher makes 10. The host definitely makes 725. I am pretty sure. But other than that, yeah, servers still make 213. Bartenders still make 426. The whole
So
thing.
do you walk out with cash every night, or is it anything that you get cash tip or whatnot? You've got to like give, and they divvy it up, quote unquote, on the paychecks.
So I learned this from one of our cooks. So one of our cooks orders Modelo's. Usually whenever he has a double or whatever, he'll like on his break he'll like order a Modelo or whatever, and we'll get it for him. Like he's not. We obviously don't let him get to a stupid place,
Right.
And I've gotten him a Modelo, and Modelo at the time was like four or something or whatever, and he would just like give us a $20 bill, and not ask any questions about it. It was like that was kind of our tip, which was really cool, the cook to do that. And so I learned that way that when cash is paid for certain for anything ordered, then it doesn't get taxed because what he ordered, like the total price of what he ordered, is what that I paid in my second cash out because I already did a cash out and I didn't realize that I had to do a second cash out. It was kind of an annoying ordeal, but it's gone in the past now.
Gotcha. All right, so I'm gonna go to some questions because I've been neglecting the chat as I have been inquiring on myself.
No, I apologize.
So first question was from Hero. She says, "So the place you are now, do most of you get along and help each other out, or is it kind of not my table, not my problem mentality?"
So that's a very good question because there are a lot of places where that is the mentality. Uh, from where I work, I'm very good. I'm very friendly with everybody that I work with. And I don't know if it's because so much I used to be a regular there, but like everybody that I've worked with, it's everybody all hands on deck kind of thing. Like we're gonna help each other make money. We're gonna do this thing. Yeah, it might suck. Like, it might suck on a Saturday night when there's 220 tops in the restaurant and everybody's stressed out. Nobody wants to be there anymore. But at the same time, we're going to help each other, pre-bust that table. We're going to help each other refill those drinks. We're going to help each other clean up that table when it's, when they're gone. That way we can flip that table, and hopefully get another 20 top, do the whole thing all over again.
Gotcha. All right, so question from Ireland for you. Uh, how does working at a bar impact your work-life balance? Always working late, always working holidays, etc. Does that take its toll on you?
Definitely. Like for instance, Easter is this Sunday. Easter this Sunday,
Yep.
right? Yeah. So Easter is this Sunday. I'm actually bartending this Sunday morning, so it won't affect me as much as it will affect other people, on the restaurant side because all the families are going to go there. Granted, I'm still going to have the same regulars that we have anyways, but it and this is not a knock on anybody with kids. This is not a knock on kids at all. But I do not like serving when kids are at the table just because kids can obviously get a little bit wild. We also have, if I may, venture out here, we also have this regular who comes in usually once a week, usually sometimes twice a week, and his kid is like polite as hell, like super nice kid, always says please, says thank you, like the whole thing. I don't mind those kids obviously, but it's like the kids that parents that like jam their crayons into the table and move like just put all the sugars all over the table and whatnot. Those are the kids that I'm not so much a fan of, if I can say that.
Gotcha. So I wanted to ask real quick. So do they adjust you? Let's say today you're a server, and then tomorrow you're a bartender. So do you make the 213 on the server day and then make the 4 whatever on the bartender day?
Yeah. So like for instance, Sunday I'm bartending. Sunday morning I'm bartending. Saturday morning I'm on the server side. So yeah, I work tomorrow morning as well and Friday morning as well. So I'll make 213 those days, and then we have different like buttons for the way we can clock in. So we can clock in as a bartender, and then it'll automatically be 426. And then you can clock in as food service, is what they call it, and then it's $2.13 an hour.
Well, it sounds extremely convoluted from an accounting standpoint. I think
For
I
sure.
think if they would just pay you a decent fucking wage and then let you get tips, life would be a lot easier. um,
Very much.
let's see what else we got here. So Russell asked, "Is the dishwasher making minimum wage or less?" You already kind of answered that one. Iron Maiden says a lot of friends that were/are servers would try to find places that don't do tip sharing because you end up getting fucked, especially if you have lazy coworkers.
Yeah, so I'm definitely about to call a very large corporation out. I don't give a shit. So Olive Garden, like the tip out goes to all of the servers. So we don't tip out to all of the servers. We just tip out, on the weekends to the host and to the dishwasher. And during the mornings, if a bar drink is ordered, then we tip out to the bartender. If no bar drink is ordered, then there's no tip out at all, which is lovely. But at Olive Garden, all the servers get part of the tip share. So every tip, can go into like a tip pool basically for Olive Garden. And I know this from a person that worked there. I'm not like saying this from somebody that told me, like, I mean, I guess it is kind of from somebody that told me, but they worked there. So yeah, she was like really upset because she like made $100 tip, and then she ended up losing like $20 of that because they had to go into this big ass tip share that all the servers ended up taking out of.
That's
which,
bullshit.
yeah, rubbed me the wrong way. So I will not go to Olive Garden. If my family wants to go to Olive Garden, I'm like, y'all can go, I guess. I ain't
We
going though.
we
Yeah,
we used to go to Olive Garden a lot, and we did go recently just to see. But when I figured out how to make their Alfredo, there's no need to go back anymore. So, but yeah, I mean that does suck because I mean you kind of look at being a server as kind of like a performance based job, and
yeah,
and if you're doing
absolutely.
great, I mean, I'd be madder than hell if I got $100 tip, and
Sure.
no, because your lazy coworker that's hiding in the bathroom texting instead of serving their or filling drinks, they don't deserve that shit.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's the way that's the first thing I thought of. I was like, so okay, so you have this like just what you said, this lazy ass coworker that's just hiding in the back. They're not running their food. They're not, they're asking other people to greet their tables, which is not a horrible thing, to ask if you're busy. You know what I mean? But if you're clearly not busy and you're asking people to, you know, uh, greet your tables, and you're asking people to bus your tables, and you're actually not doing anything, it's kind of, a kick to the shins to everyone in their ass for their tables, and then they have to help your tables as well, and then you're going to get the tip because they're like, oh, we're getting great service here, man. I love this place. Let's tip this guy $100, and they didn't do shit, they actually deserve, 100 cents. I'm not gonna, get too deep into that because I'll just go into a rant, but at the same time, like is one of those things like it's very, that's why I like where I work so much because we help each other out like all the time. I've like so bartenders can get kind of backed up. Obviously, if they have a lot of guests, especially in the mornings, they have that full bar top, and then they have the whole cocktail area as well. If that many people come in, and I'm always running bar food, and I've been complimented a lot about how much I've ran that bar food, and it just makes me feel better because I know that I'm helping their tip out, and I also know that I'm not receiving anything of it. Like I'm just helping them out specifically. It's kind of a nice little thing to kind of have on your shoulder.
Yeah, I've got to call this comment out. Blame Tag says, I don't go to Olive Garden because I don't want my Italian grandmother to rise from the grave and hit me with a wooden spoon.
Yeah, no, I'm,
Ah!
I'm, I'm with him on that. Yeah.
The fuck today, she says, speaking of Arizona, and I don't know if you've ever seen this, but remember Amy's Baking Company on Kitchen Nightmares? The owners took the waitress's tip because they paid them hourly. Do you think that
Yes.
happens more because Arizona requires a livable wage?
So I I do think that is why they do that. But if you are making, I feel like if you're making an hourly wage, unless obviously you're a server. So say you're a manager, say you're like a so to speak a key, which servers know as just basically somebody that holds the keys to the restaurant, in a management position, but they're not like actually a manager. If you're one of those two things, you should not get a tip at all. Like no questions asked. There's nothing to talk about here. But at the same time, like as an owner's standpoint, I do feel like that's, and I don't think owners should either. But at the same time, I think owners are ignorant to the fact that this is kind of like a livelihood. Like this is there are some people that have only done this their entire life. I obviously, admittedly, am one of them. It's the only thing that they have done their entire life, and it's the only thing that a lot of them will claim that they are good at. I also one of those, but I don't think that gives you the right, obviously, to take their wage, like to take their tips because they earned those tips. And I worked at a place very briefly that like decide, like you had to decide if you wanted to make, and this was in Oklahoma, but like you had to decide if you wanted to make an hourly 7.25 at the time in Oklahoma, or you can make the 2.13 an hour and keep your tips. But if you did the 7.25 route, you could not keep your tips. And I was like, yeah, not a chance. Like I know I'll
Wow.
make more. Yeah, so it was like a really annoying like thing. I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go home now and we'll just call it a day.
Um, let's see. Hero had asked, where to go? I'm looking. Are you, quote unquote, collectively allowed to take smoke breaks while serving?
So in Oklahoma, you can't really take a break. Now you can ask your manager, hey, can I just step outside real quick, like 10 minutes? I'm just gonna, hit a cigarette real quick, whatever. And most of the time we're gonna say yes. Like it's especially if it's not busy. Just don't ask, obviously during a rush. It's kind of one of those things that's very disrespectful if you do that. We had a worker here. She's not with us anymore, but she came in and like her first day, she's training, and she comes in like she gets, she has her uniform on, and I'm her trainer, and she's like, "Are you cool if I like go outside and take a smoke break real quick?" And I was like kind of busy at the moment. I'm like, "Yeah, fine, you do your thing. I'll do my thing, whatever." And so that was kind of annoying, but she you know did her thing. She obviously did not very last very long because she would always want to take smoke breaks. But there's nothing against taking smoke breaks. Just do it at a time where it's reasonable.
Um, Blame Tag asked because he is doing research on this.
Love
How
that.
bad is the Sunday crowd?
Worst. Worst. I fucking hate working Sundays. I hate,
Blame Tag. There you go.
hate, I hate working Sundays. And anybody that is in the service industry will tell you they hate working Sundays. If you had to work, I think if you took a poll with most servers that make 2.13 an hour, and you had to pick one day to have off every
That you know, do you think do you think there's a reason for that? Oh, we've lost him. We hang tight, everybody. We'll see if it comes back in. I can see him. He's moving slow, and I've got no audio. Um, so let's kind of look at some stuff real here. I've heard servers be pissed the kitchen can take breaks and servers aren't. He is adjusting, so we're good. Real quick, while he's doing his thing, Next week, we have a labor attorney from Washington, D.C. on with us, and he's not going to be giving legal advice, but he's going to be talking about labor law, which is cool. And then the week following that, I have Marissa Baker, who is a PhD, who did a study on COVID protections in grocery stores. They actually did a survey to see if they worked or they did not, and plot twist, they did. So let me see what I got going on here. All right, everybody hang tight. Can you hear me? Let's do this. You guys talk amongst yourself in the chat. You can hear me, right? If you want to disconnect and jump back in, that will probably fix it, and that is perfectly okay. Technical difficulties, guys. Hold up. Let's see here. Hold up. Give me just a second. All right. Okay. Drunken Server, can you hear me? So, hold up. Look at the chat. All right, hold on a second here. Let's see what we can figure out. Everybody hang tight, talk amongst yourselves. It's all good. All right, so let's look through here a minute. Curse you, technology gods. Yes, 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 yes. See, that's the beautiful thing about this being, um, when I do the audio side of it, I can edit everything out. If there's technical difficulties or whatnot, I can fix it, and on the audio side, we're good to go. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, he'll be able to get back in here because pretty good convo so far. What do we got here? It's a cloister of Karen's thing, Irish. The Sunday thing. Is that more of a generational thing or a church thing? All right. I can hear you. Can you hear me? All right, good. So, all right. Let me see if I can get you back in here real quick. Yeah, Skype's weird. One day I'm going to get Zoom, but Zoom doesn't allow me to position windows and stuff like that. I've to- I've toyed with the idea, and I just have not been able to get it to work. So it's kind of like a pain in the ass, but we'll see what happens. Let's see if this works. Nope, not that one. Let's see here. Because Skype does get kind of wonky from time to time. There we go.
Hey,
All right. All right. So as soon as I do this here, we should be good to go and continue. All right. Say something real quick.
Something real quick.
Oh, that didn't work. That's weird. Can you guys hear him? Just curious.
Check. 1, 2.
Because I can hear you. I don't know if they can hear you or not. I'm waiting to see somebody. Hero says that you can hear him. All right, cool. All right, good deal. We have audio and video. Yay. Nice.
Thank God. Finally.
Awesome. All right, so we're back. So we'll kind of, we had some stuff come through here. Mm-hmm. What was the last thing we were talking about?
We were talking about Sunday crowd, how I hated them.
Sunday crowd. There we go. All right. So this is a big thing. All right. You know, that we've been discussing as of recently. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that the Sunday crowd is the worst?
I don't know, and I listened to the Drunken Server last week, and I think what she said was right on point. They got all their sins out on Sunday, and then they go to a restaurant and just kind of unleash them back onto the servers because they're just going to get them out the next week. And I don't know if that's exactly what she was meaning when she said it, but it made perfect sense to me. And so I don't really know what it is, but there's something about a Sunday crowd that I just cannot get up early in the morning for,
So, I mean, would you say that Sundays typically are your rudest customers?
Most usually. So we also have the disadvantage of living very, very close to a youth baseball ballpark. So you'll also have those baseball teams, like 15 kids, usually 3-4 adults just come in, and that is also a very hefty kick in the shins, but it's one of those things. And you don't really expect very much money from them, because they've spent all their money on baseball equipment for all of their kids. They've had to have also a youth baseball umpire, so they've also I know for a fact that they have to pay those umpires, and it's kind of like I said, it's kind of a kick to the shins when you have to deal with all of that, and then you have to deal with rude church customers who. I've had one that was pissed off that I was working on Sunday because it's God's day, which I'm not trying to take anything away from that. Like, let's not get it twisted. But, like, they complained that I was working Sunday. I was like, oh, well, and I told them straight up, I'm like, well, if I'm not working, who's your server?
So wait a minute. They're bitching at you about working Sunday, but they're sitting in your damn restaurant.
Exactly. I'm like, well, you can go home and cook your own fucking meal. Like you could do that too. I'm not like, and don't get me wrong. There are some people that come in on Sundays that I do appreciate, that I do enjoy communicating with. But for the most part, there isn't not very many people on Sundays that I enjoy.
Do you typically see the Sunday, we're going to say Sunday church crowd because that's kind of what we're looking at. The Sunday church crowd, do you typically see them tip worse?
Oh, yeah. So I think the most that I got out of a Sunday church crowd, it was a group of 15, and everybody, put in $1. Everybody put in it because I heard the leader of the church crowd would be like, oh well, everybody put in $1, so he has his tip, and so everybody put in $1. It was a $215 tab. Like there, like that's
$215 and
15.
you got $15.
Yeah, that's $15 on a $215 tab. That ain't gonna cut it, Susan. Like I don't know what to tell you, you know. But
Wow.
it is very, very annoying. It's a very large pain in the ass. But you know, like I tell everybody that's new to the new to the industry, it's part of the business, you know, and to chalk it up to the game. It's shitty, you know, you don't want to do it, but it's one of those things you just have to chalk up to the game.
Nice. Proto Rage asks, the golden rule for customers: never piss off your server, kitchen, bar staff, or else. Do you believe in it, and your thoughts on it?
So I have a funny quirk that happens with me whenever I think a guest is rude to me. Um, Long story short, yes, I do believe in it. And I will tell you this: there are people out there that like will tip and then they'll add the change so they can round up their thing. So, for instance, say something is like $25.75. You know, they'll like tip $4.25 to make it an even 30 or whatever the case may be. And I have that a lot. If they are nice, I will give them the whole 4.75. If they are rude or assholes in any sort of way, I will do 4.74 and make that 29.99. And then they have to look at that on their bank statement and be like, where did that 1 penny go? And you know, maybe they don't think about it, but I think about it, and it makes me laugh every single time that I do it. And it's very, very petty on my part, but at the same time, it does make me feel better if somebody is an asshole to me, and I just do 1 cent less when they're trying to round up to an even number on the total.
Right. So this was brought up on the last one, and I'm just curious because it's been brought up on this one too. Have you ever seen the movie Waiting?
I saw it, but it was a very long.
I've never seen it, so I can't really reference it. Like Russell says, if y'all would watch Waiting, you'd be completely different at a restaurant.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in a while. I've been meaning to because my manager brought it up the other day, and I do need to watch it again. It's been a minute since I've watched it.
Hero says, things you wish customers would stop doing or knew about.
Man, that's a tough one. I wish customers didn't think ranch was important as they thought they thought it was, which sounds very, very asinine, very childish. But like, I will. So, I say, anyways, in Oklahoma, ranch is like I call it Oklahoma ketchup because in Oklahoma, everybody needs ranch on everything. I have seen somebody put ranch in their cereal. Now that's obviously, you know, a little bit facetious, but I like people want ranch with everything. So at our restaurant, we don't charge ranch for if you buy wings, like, you know, buffalo wings, and we don't charge it if you get chicken tenders. But if you get pizza, which everybody here dips in ranch, you have to charge for the ranch, and like literally anything. So you get a burger with fries, you want ranch with your fries, which a lot of people want here. You have to charge for the ranch. It's like it's a whole thing, and then people get pissed off, you know, that they're paying 35 cents for ranch, and I'm like, well, you can go down to Wingstop and pay 85 cents for ranch. You know, I think we're kind of doing you a favor here. I apologize for my dog.
Oh, it's quite all right. I've had my cat flipping
it's
out on me when I've been on stream. It's all good.
Yeah.
Ranch on pizza is disgusting. I just want to say that right now.
I don't like, and I don't like ranch with wings either. I like blue cheese. You know, fucking sue me. What do you want? What are we gonna do?
Oh, I don't even use ranch on wings. Just give me the damn wings. Whatever sauce you get on them should be all you want.
Give me the buffalo sauce on my wings. That's all I need.
Yeah, I mean, now look, like my family, here, typically they
Mhm.
will get ranch, for their fries. I have a clan of people here. I have a wife who believes that it's acceptable to dip French fries in Frosties, and that's a topic for
Yes,
another time. But
she
but
she needs to
yeah,
stop.
but for me, wings, whatever flavor I get on the wings, that's it. I'm not going to dip them in anything. And
Yeah,
I will ask for. There's a local restaurant here that has really good honey mustard, and I'll ask for a cup of ranch. They don't charge us for it, but that's about the extent of it. And you'll order like Domino's or whatnot, and I guess most of the time you get that one freebie, but anything more than that one, they charge you, and I think that's fair.
yeah. And if for me personally, if you're like cool, it's like you're not really a pain in the ass to deal with, I will not charge you for the range. But if you're being quote unquote Karen the entire time, I'm definitely charging you for every ranch that I can potentially charge you with. And I guess it's like also one of those things that kind of comes with me being petty. I'm a very petty person, and I very much take pride in that.
Nothing wrong with that. But then again, the comment you made about being Oklahoma ketchup, I think we're about at a point where ranch should probably be the national dressing.
I mean, I don't know how it isn't already, quite honestly.
I mean, I love me some Hidden Valley Ranch. I'm not gonna lie, but but for
Yeah,
wings, like I said, for wings and stuff like that, I just don't understand why people have to dip it in another sauce. It's like you already got sauce on your wings.
yeah. I don't know how many of uh, my or your followers know about the place. It's definitely in Oklahoma, so unless they're in Oklahoma, they may not know about it. But it's a place called Mazio's. It's a pizza place, and they have the best ranch I have ever had. I will take back everything that I have said about ranch if it is Mazio's ranch. Like that ranch is acceptable to have on everything. That I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but there is something about that ranch that is just top notch.
Man, we have started a war of condiments in the fucking chat. I mean,
Son of a bitch.
we got Ken's Ranch is better, Ranch is America's dressing, uh, ketchup and mayonnaise mixed together. What is this? Some people use mayo for their fry. Wow, wait, boy, that's a controversial subject.
Okay, so I will go on record as saying I have dipped my fries in mayo and it's not terrible.
I, nope, not me, not me. I will dip
I
onion rings in honey mustard.
I will take it a step farther. I have put mayo on my hot dog
Ooh.
and it is not terrible.
Well, but you're probably right because if you really think about the concept of a hot dog, it's like a big bologna tube. So I would
Yeah,
eat I eat bologna sandwiches with mayonnaise, so I guess it's probably the same. You know,
yeah, it's nothing different at all. You just have to bite through more to get to the mayo.
fries and honey mustard. Yeah, that's a good hill to die on. I do that too.
Anyway,
I will say this though. I don't care what any of you freaks in the chat say. Ranch doesn't belong on pizza. Y'all can all fuck off. I just want to put that out there.
I'm with you
Yeah,
on
no, just like I
that.
believe pineapple and ham shouldn't be on a pizza. That's not a pizza.
You see, that's where we're gonna disagree because
Oh,
I do like pineapple. Now I don't get it like every time I get pizza, but every now and then is nice. It's nice to
I
like.
think it's okay. I just don't think it should be called a pizza. Call
Yeah,
call it a ham and
I mean,
pineapple flatbread.
just fold that bitch over. Just call it a calzone.
There you go. Ham and pineapple calzone. The man's a genius. Wow, God, we have the
Thank.
condiment war going on here. You ought to see this shit. This is great.
I cannot wait.
Um,
Not wait for Warzone.
so so let me ask you as we're wrapping up here. Worst customer you ever got?
So, oh, man. So there's this one lady, and I will I will preface it with they left a very good tip. But so I went up there and I was like, "Hi, my name's Doug. How can I Diet Coke?" help you? My name is Doug. I'll be taking care of you. I have a feeling that you want a Diet Coke. I'll get that for you. Absolutely. What can I get you? And he was like kind of laughing. He's like, yeah, take a Dr. Pepper or whatever. And so like I went back and got the whole thing. They were just assholes the entire time. And so like I brought their pizzas because they wanted pizzas, and uh, I was like, can I get you guys any ranch? Else, absolutely. I'll get you some ranch. I just have a feeling you want that. Can I get you anything? He's like, can I get some Parmesan and red pepper? Like one of them was just like complete asshole the entire time. The other one was like really cool about everything. And so I was like, yeah, I'll get you Parmesan and red pepper. Absolutely, of course I will. And so I go, go back and do the whole thing. And I guess she told him to stop talking because he stopped talking the entire rest of the way. And I was like, is everything tasting? Yes. Absolutely. I was hoping everything was tasting disgusting for you. It was like kind of one of those things. Like I couldn't even get my sentence out before she was answering. It was like kind of like a yeah, now go away, Joker. Like who the fuck are you? It was kind of one of those things. And it was just I felt like I didn't want to go back to that table, because she was being an asshole the entire time, and I didn't really know really how I was gonna combat it. And so finally, I'm like, I get up there and I'm like, hey, can I get you guys anything else? Like, I paused. I legitimately paused because I thought she was gonna like say something. I was like, can I get you guys like a to-go box or anything? She's like, yeah, I'll take a to-go. Like, she got like nice all of a sudden. She's like, yeah, I'll take a to-go box, and and if I could get a lid for ranch, that'd be great. I'm like, yeah, of course I can do that. And so I did all that. Get on the to-go box, to the lid for the ranch, and she ended up tipping me $20. So like, I was like, well, that was the most uncomfortable $20 that I've ever made. But I mean, I appreciate it, of course. Like, I'm never gonna obviously say no to $20. I'm a server, and I make $2 an hour. So, like, why would
Right.
I? But at the same time, it's like, wow, that was different. She like changed her. I guess she was just hangry.
Yeah, hangry. I could get. So, what's the biggest tip you've ever received that you did not have to give part of away?
$300.
Damn.
Yeah, I was so I told this group of people, they were out of towners. They were from a very southern part of Arizona that I don't like to call, the city that it is, but it's Tucson, Arizona. They're like University of Arizona fans. I'm from Tempe. I went to Arizona State, like the whole thing. So I don't want to like really deal with, I don't like talking about it. But they came in and we basically bet, and telling them, I was like, you know, Arizona State's gonna win today. I don't like know what you're even tripping about. Like, what are we even talking? And I was at the bar, like, so this is before the game, so I'm still working, and they're like, Arizona State wins this game. Next time we come in, we'll tip you $300. I'm like, deal all day. Like that was and that's kind of how that went in. And Arizona State did end up winning 70-7. So it was like not even close. Yeah, and so I was working the next morning, hungover as shit, and they came in first thing in the morning. They came in. I was like, oh, I'm like, well, look who it is, and they each ordered a shot. They took the shot. Each of them tipped $150 a piece. So I guess 150, but like added together, because they were together yesterday when they said they'd each tip that or
Damn,
whatever.
that's
And
some expensive
so
shots, bro.
$3, dude. It was not expensive at all.
Wow. So one last question when we get you, because we discussed this with Seething Server. What is your take on customers taking forever to order?
So I've had a I've had a couple of experiences with this. So usually, I'll like so the way we do it, it's sit where you would like. So you'll sit down, we'll bring a menu to you. We'll bring your menus and your silverware, and we'll be like, what can I get you to drink? We'll get your drinks, and I'll like, can I get you, are you guys ready, or do you need a few more moments on the menu? and they'll usually, most of the time, want a few more moments on the menu. I'm like, yeah, I get that. So I'll like walk away. I generally like go to the back and like I usually always just get myself some chips and salsa just so I have something to munch on, throughout the shift. And I'll like, have a couple of those and like, well, shit, it's been about 2 minutes. Let's go out there and see if they're ready. And if they're not ready, then I like have this whole inner game with myself, like, oh, okay, shit. Now, how long are they going to take? And so if it looks like they haven't looked at the menu at all, I will give them like 5 minutes. Now, if I go back after that 5 minutes and they still need time, I swear right hand to God, I will wait 10 minutes before I go back to that table. Like, I will check on all my tables all the time. I will check every single one of them out. Like, I will not go back to that table until I know for a fact they are ready. There was one time that I did that and they were still not ready. It was actually like 15 minutes and they still weren't ready. I'm like, what is taking so long? It's one menu. It's two-sided. Like, I could read it off to you right now. But yeah, so I guess really generally I'll like give them their drinks. If they're not ready, I'll go back to the kitchen or whatever and do whatever I have to do. If I have to greet another table or you know bring another table like condiment or like bring another table a check, I'll go back to that table right after I do that, which usually takes about usually a minute and a half, 2 minutes or whatever. And if they're still not ready, then I start ramping up the time that I wait. So like usually it's 2.5 minutes for the first, and then after that it's like 5 minutes. After that it's like 10 minutes. But I haven't. There's one time I had to wait 20 minutes for a table, and it was really enough because I was about to get off. Like they can't, we have a shift lead shift, and it goes from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time. So, they came in at like 3:45, and I was like, oh, these guys look like they might just take four. Fuck never. And they did. They did. And so, I did that, and I ended up just handing them off to the other server, and they ended up not tipping the other server, which I felt very terrible about, because I hate giving tables away that don't, tip. I feel like it's my fault that that they didn't tip. But yeah, that's kind of
Well, that's good to hear because we have a problem with my youngest son. For whatever reason, like you said, you come get the drink order. Typically, we're three of us are ready to order when the drinks get dropped off, and he's hemming and hawing like, I don't know what I want, and these aren't big menus, and we try to tell him, dude, you need to be ready, man, because these people are kind of like on a, the longer the table sits there, they're losing money. Let's go,
yeah. Look around. They have other tables, bro.
Yeah, read the room, buddy. Read the room. Erica, Erica said, "Hi, Drunken Server. I live in the valley, also."
I what part? If she can respond
What
to that,
part? What part of the valley, Erica? And real quick, so what we'll do is while we're waiting on that, the last question of the night from Irish Connection: what is the dumbest question a customer has asked you?
This happened the other day, and I'm going to give you two questions that I've been asked that have been dumb as hell. So these two people come in, they're like young as fuck, and they come in like they're noticeably young, just young as hell. And so like I get them their menus. I'm like, hey, my name's Doug. I'll be taking care of you guys tonight. What can I get you guys started with a drink? And like the lady looked at me and she's like, do you ID?
That's a big red flag.
I'm like, I do now.
Yeah.
I like literally said that right back, and they left. They left. I'm like, what are we even doing here, bro? Like, I was gonna ID them anyways, but at the same time, like, what are we even doing? Another one was, are there free refills on beer? Somebody asked me that, and that's when I was, when I was working in Arizona, somebody wanted, and we have a very good beer. I love it so much. It's called, it's from Four Peaks Brewing Company. It's based in Tempe, Arizona, headquartered in Tempe, Arizona. They have a Pitchfork IPA, And so in my dad's restaurant, we had that, and I like poured it for somebody, and like, just a quick question. It might be a dumb question. I'm like, the only dumb question is the one that you don't ask. And little did I know, he was about to ask me the dumbest question that I've ever heard. He was like, "Are there free refills on the beer?" I'm like,
Wow.
"No, there are
That
not."
may go down as the dumbest question ever. I'm going to be honest with you.
I'm like, I cannot believe you actually asked me that. I had told him that. I was like, I cannot believe you literally just asked me that. He's like, so, I just wondered. I'm like, have you ever been anywhere where there's free refills? Let me know. I would like to go
Yeah,
there.
there's
Like,
no such thing as a free alcohol refill anywhere, anytime, any place, any timeline.
Everywhere. Yeah.
You know, Erica said she loves Four Peaks, and she says that she's in Phoenix.
Phoenix. Yeah, I've always grew up in Tempe. Went to Tempe High School, and then obviously graduated there. Went to Arizona State for a little bit, and tried to play baseball. Blew out my knee. It's the whole thing.
Nice. All right, everybody. This has been absolutely fantastic. So let me ask you, Drunken Server, you willing to come back on again?
Absolutely, dude. Anytime.
What I'd like to do is, I don't know if you've seen these retail therapy sessions we do or whatnot that are kind of offline, and it would be kind of nice to get like 4 or 5 servers together and do one of these. It's offline, nobody's live or whatnot, and just let you guys just fucking go off.
Dude, that would be awesome.
Those are a lot of fun actually when you get like a good amount of people in, because it's so many different varied opinions that it's awesome. And I do have it set up. I'm gonna have some Apple retail folks doing one here in a couple of weeks, which ought to be interesting. But yeah, I'd love to have you back, and Seething Server as well. I feel like Irish was really the one. I mean, I'd thought about it, but it wasn't like front of mind. But Irish was really the one. It's like, why haven't we had any servers on yet? And I'm like, well, that's a really damn good question. And so, yeah, so you guys have stories for days. I mean, I know the retail people have stories, but the restaurant industry and the serving industry is a totally different beast. And
absolutely,
so it's absolutely insane what you guys have to put up with. And I'm sure Blame Tag thanks you immensely for your contribution to his research on Sundays. I will say sometime in the near future, him and I are going to coordinate, and there is going to be a Retail Warzone episode where we go over his findings and we talk about the Sunday crowd. So that's going to be a very controversial thing, but I don't fucking care. I really don't.
If you need to have me on, by all means, I am happy to talk shit on any Sunday crowd that there has ever been. I do not.
Awesome. All right. So as per usual, tonight when I get done here, I'll edit up the audio. I'll cut out the part in the middle where we had technical difficulties, because it happens. Because Microsoft owns Skype. They make great game consoles, but they haven't figured this Skype thing out enough to make it compete with Zoom, other than the fact that it's free. But I'll cut all that out. The audio will go up sometime tonight. And also, just to let everybody know, the second part of the last retail therapy sessions will go live Friday morning. So check that one out. I want to give a special shout out. There's somebody I'll talk about in that is kind of important to me in my working life at this moment, and he deserves all the props in the world that he gets. So please check out my rant about him, because it's excellent. Thank you, Drunken Server, for being here. Like I said, next week we have Pete Whelan on. He is a high profile labor attorney out of Washington, D.C. He obviously is not here to give legal advice, but he's going to go over some different things as far as labor law and whatnot goes. So that's going to be great. Sure. And the week after, we got some other cool stuff. And then going into next month, it's going to be awesome, because Defuck Today, who is here in the chat, also known as Mad Dog, will get her day in the sun. And ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress enough how I would like everybody to be here for that one, because you're going to get some tales about how shitty a company can treat somebody. So please, if there's one episode that you can bookmark that you could be here, please be here for that one, because I'm going to let her go as long as she needs to go. come ready. So, but anyway, everybody, thank y'all so much for being here. It's always great seeing people in the chat. You guys are the community. You guys are the reason this happens. You know, for me, it's like, you know, like I told Drunken Server on Twitter, it's not about me. It's about a communal thing, getting a lot of like-minded people that put up with a lot of bullshit together and give somebody a platform to say what they need to say. And we'll see when Mad Dog's on how important that really is. So everybody, you have a great night. Thank everybody for being here, and we